Are you looking for more effective ways to save your money? In today's video, we're going to talk about how to create different buckets for savings in different areas so you can be not only more strategic, but far more effective in accomplishing your goals. Hi there, I'm Sean with Families Creating Financial Freedom, and in today's video, we're going to talk about how to effectively create different buckets of savings for different goals and strategies. So you want to stay tuned and you want to watch to the end so you don't miss anything important. Also, do me a favor, if this is the first time you're watching it, go down below and follow my channel and like this video. That helps me, and it'll also make it come up to you when I do my videos each week. So the first bucket you should be starting with is the bucket for short-term savings. What is short-term savings? That is making sure you have money set aside for 6 months of emergency. Maybe you're trying to save to purchase a car, whether it's to pay full cash or a down payment, or a little bit longer short-term vision is saving up for a home. It might also just be saving for that next vacation or that dream vacation instead of putting it on a high-interest credit card, which we know you want to get away from. So the first bucket is short-term savings. It can be divided between something that will earn a small interest rate, like a CD or a money market fund. I tend to favor a money market over a CD. And then another portion of it could go into a relatively safe type mutual fund, or maybe even utilizing some form of an equity. But I tend to favor something very safe, very conservative, because when you need it, you want to make sure you're not in a down position. Meaning, if you had put in $50,000, you're not trying to draw from it when it's $40,000. So if you're leveraging instead something like a money market that maybe is paying 3%, that's a safe 3% you don't have to worry about losing on. That should be your goal in the short-term bucket. Now, the second bucket is actually subdivided between 2 or 3 buckets. This is long-term savings. For me, long-term savings is savings towards retirement. So you can't simply just throw your money into retirement savings and think that that's going to most effectively serve you in retirement. We have to think about other factors such as taxes. What is your tax strategy going to be in retirement versus what's your tax rate now? What makes sense now should also be a component of how you save for retirement, factoring taxes then. Are you in a low tax bracket now? If so, is it hard to appreciate that hopefully in retirement you will have done well over your life, accumulated so much that you are in a higher tax bracket. So having some savings that is not taxable versus savings that will be taxed as ordinary income or even capital gains are all considerations in your long-term savings. So, sub-buckets, an example of taxable savings. That would be an IRA or a 401k. So if you are at work and they offer you a 401k, every dollar you put in is savings pre-tax. You don't have to report it today on your income tax, but when you take the money out plus the growth in retirement, you're going to pay ordinary income tax. That combined with other retirement income sources could put you in a higher tax bracket in retirement. So if you're in a low tax bracket now, the lowest, does it merit you contributing to an IRA versus the other bucket, which we are about to talk about? Now, my one disclaimer to that is if your 401k at work provides a match. So many employers will say if you put in 6%, we'll match 50%, meaning they will put in 3% of your income. That's huge. So if you're putting in 6, they're giving you 3, that's 9% of your income going into your 401k to grow for retirement. Never leave money on the table. If somebody wants to pay you based on what you contribute, contribute. Plus, that's pre-tax dollars, so it doesn't reduce your current paycheck as much as if it was after-tax dollars. That is also good planning for retirement. You can build that, add that, you change jobs, you can roll that over into an IRA or your next 401k. A lot of great options. Bucket number 2 in the long-term savings, second bucket. So really, second bucket, long-term savings, sub-bucket, we'll call it bucket B. That would be non-taxable. So what is a non-taxable savings? That could be a Roth IRA. I love Roth IRAs. You can contribute, if you're under 50, currently up to $6,000 a year. If you're over 50, you can make it up with an additional $1,000 a year so that you are contributing as much as $7,000 a year to your own retirement account. Now, like an IRA, you cannot reasonably touch these funds until after age 59 and a half. There's some other provisions, but let's just be straightforward and say 59 and a half. After that, you can access it for retirement. Why after-tax dollars? Because if you put it in with money that you've already paid taxes on, the IRS, state governments, if you have an income tax, do not require you to pay taxes on the money you put in when you take it out, nor the growth. So let's say you're young and you had $10,000 sitting in an IRA at age 25, and at age 65, that could potentially have grown and doubled and compounded such that that might be $30,000. If you continue to contribute to it, that could, in a sense, grow to be $500,000 a year. Well, if you've got $500,000 in growth there, and you can pull from it for income while it's continuing to grow without paying taxes on it, that's going to really help you out in retirement. Because if you need money, it's nice not have to worry about how it's going to change your tax picture that year. So sub-buckets in long-term savings bucket is taxable and non-taxable. Another example in a non-taxable, if you make too much money, the IRS doesn't allow you to contribute to a Roth account. You could use a vehicle that a lot of high net worth people do, such as overfunded life insurance. That is another topic for another video, but it grows typically with a combination of a guaranteed interest rate and an annual dividend compounding for growth after the cost of insurance is deducted every year. But that can grow significantly over your life, and then you can take withdrawals from it in different forms, whether it's a straight withdrawal or a loan, and it's not taxable. The advantage of that, in addition to being non-taxable, is it's not tied to the market. So in a Roth, typically, those are invested in the market in some fashion. So if the market is down and you take from it, that further depletes your account. Whereas an overfunded life insurance policy, properly structured, and you're taking from it, you don't have to worry about taking from it when it's already beat up by the market, so to say. What goes down generally comes back up in the market, but it's harder to recover to where you were if you take additional from where you're at when the markets are down. I hope that this simplification of savings buckets, short-term and long-term, and the different pieces of long-term have been helpful in you understanding. The other thing is, once you have managed to save 6 months of emergency income in bucket A, and you then begin saving bucket B, I tell my clients that even at that point, you don't stop contributing to the short-term savings. I then reallocate to where you're saving 75% in the long term, but you're continuing to contribute 25% into the short term. You just may divide that up into 2 categories: immediate access and a little bit longer access, but with a shorter term picture. And that's some different pieces to factor. But why would you continue to contribute to a short-term savings? It is simply cost of living. Things go up, and so and your expenses, your lifestyle may increase, such that if you just operate off of where you save to, it may fall short down the line. So you want to continue to contribute. And 2, those other goals. So you've saved all you need for 6 months. It's a year later, it's 2 years later, and suddenly you decide you want to replace your car. Well, your savings has continued to be built, that it's going to go a long way at that point in time to you replacing your car. I hope that, again, these explanations have been very helpful. I know they're kind of simple. If you don't have somebody helping you and you would like it, I'm going to include a link to my website where you can reach out and contact me, and I'm happy to have an additional conversation with you, or even help you as a financial advisor establish these buckets and keep you on track. Another key piece in this is knowing your numbers, having a budget, working towards reducing your debt so you can afford to be strategic in your savings. If you aren't doing these things, if you don't have a budget, if you're not working towards eliminating your debt and financial freedom, there's also a link down there to take my signature course on budget and debt elimination. I hope you have found this very helpful. And until next time, have a great day.